All right, we are here in Kyoto. I gotta try to show you the beauty of this nearly 200-year-old Ryokan with the beauty of nature, with the beauty of Bryce and his girlfriend. Look at how beautiful they are.
Hi.
Hey, look at this. Howdy ho.
Howdy.
Oh, it's sunny out. I was trying to catch it.
Whoa.
Watch out.
Yeah.
Check it. The snow is melting. It was just snowing here. You can see the snow. And now it's melting. And literally now we're outdoors. Yo, that's crazy. We're about to go to my favorite place, the rock garden, a little bit. But first, I'm going to get Bryce on the hot seat here. Yo, this is a sick background. Just look at this.
This is gorgeous.
Right? What do you think about Japan? First impression.
I mean,
Think about it. Just say it.
Beautiful and full of culture.
What do you think?
Me too.
First time? First time in Japan?
Yeah, it's extraordinary.
Whoa!
One of a kind.
Whoa!
Wow. Big words.
Damn!
I don't know that many of them.
She said it. She enunciated it. Extraordinary.
I don't even know that many letters.
What does it feel like to be a millionaire?
Feels good. It feels
What do you
deserved.
do differently? Has he changed? Has the money changed?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I don't know. It's a lot, for me, I just feel like it's well deserved, and but it's. I want to just keep going forward. You know, I think there's a lot more to be made, and I don't know. I'm not gonna let this one little goal keep me from shooting for new goals next.
And you're what, 25 years old?
25.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Everyone congratulate him on his achievement before 25. Did you have it written down that you want to be a millionaire before 25?
Yeah. Actually, I did. My
25 was your limit?
Well, yeah. No, it was when I was I would have had to have been probably 15 or 16. I remember sitting up at my grandparents' camp, and I was talking to my uncle, and told him by the time I was 25 years old, I wanted to make $1 million.
Really?
And it happened. Was that on my the week before my 25th
It was the
birthday?
week before, and
The
I
week
happened to
before.
be in Austin when it happened. But it's also, you have to understand, like, people can say, like, oh, I want it by this date or whatever. It's all based on when there's a good setup.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we both had GTII. I don't think you even knew that I was in it, but, like, it was such a gimme pattern. Over the weekend, News Catalyst, the hottest catalyst, like, where they're going after illegal shorts. Former Supernova closed moderately high. Promoters hyping it all weekend. Like, it was just about waiting for that. Like, you've been close to $1 million for how many months?
Almost a year.
Yeah.
I've been within like 50,000 for almost actually a year now, a full year. So I mean, it's been a long time, and I just got very fortunate. Like you said, that pattern presented itself. It could have happened a year ago. It could have happened a year later. It just happened to happen right now when it happened.
You guys just have to wait for the best plays. And that's the thing. Like, everyone wants to make a lot of money right away, right? But, like, even if you look at, like, Tim Grattani, 15 million, made zero his first year. Zero while learning. It's not like he wasn't trading. He was learning. He was, like, making 100, losing 100, making 50, losing 50. Like, trading small. Jack Kellogg, 12 million now. My bad. Congrats to Jack. Lost 2,600 year one. And they both paid a few $1,000s for the challenge too. So they're down a few thousand after year one. People were like, oh, like, it doesn't work for me. Like, you need to give it time. Nothing works for anybody overnight. These are two of the best traders in the world. They made nothing in year one because it's counterintuitive. Does this hurt your head, like, when you think about, like, the right trading rules?
It used to. I'm trying. I think now it's just kind of become a little bit more natural because you have to kind of bend some rules, and you have to really think counterintuitively for so long in order to get to a consistent trader. In my opinion, you kind of have to not break the rules, break that counterintuitive break your intuition, and then become a little counterintuitive. So I've gotten used to it over the years now, but still there are days where the things that I want to do sometimes lead to overtrading, lead to revenge trading, and lead to me losing money because I want to work harder or something,
It's crazy where, like, with trading, you shouldn't want to work that hard. You shouldn't want to trade that much. You should, again, think of yourself as a retired trader. Come out of retirement when there's a play that's so good you would feel guilty missing it. And I know that's a mouthful. I know it's tough, but, like, it's true. Like, if you want it too bad, and, most of the time it's good. Like, you want something, like, work hard, earn it. Most industries, maybe it's all about the grind. Trading is opposite. If you overtrade, you will most likely churn and burn your account like most newbies.
You have to overstudy, not overtrade. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about getting a ton of screen time, and so you do need to be working a lot. But work doesn't necessarily need to be being in a trade. It means watching the screens, learning new patterns, or trying to just reinforce good habits by not trading when there's not a good setup.
But that's also why it's good to come to Japan and travel a lot. You go out, see the world, win-win. And it helps you trading, and it helps like with your perspective. Like the Japanese people here are so nice, and like it really we're not like that in America.
No.
Most
No.
places we're not. No one's this nice. So thank you, Japanese people. Last question, I will say, what did you think going into trading versus what you've now learned over the past few years and succeeded in an industry where most people fail?
That's a good question. I don't think I've ever even really thought of that. When I first went into trading, I thought it would take me a lot less time to become consistent, or a lot less time to become consistent. I thought I was going to be the exception to the rule that a month or two in, I'd be profitable, I'd be making a lot of money. And I really did think it was going to be
Easy.
Yeah, easier than it was. And it's still, every day is a good challenge. I want to be learning every day. I want to be a student until, the day I die. So, I mean, I thought it'd be a lot easier. I thought it would be a lot faster. But I'm really glad that I embraced the process and stuck with it, even when it got hard, when I learned that it wasn't necessarily going to be as easy as I first thought, because being able to see something like this, I mean, you can see right back here, you can see that sun shining in, and I can look in the screen right now. The screen doesn't even do it justice. It's just
It really doesn't.
so beautiful. So it's all been so worth it.
It's perspective though, right? Like so many people lose because they have the wrong perspective. Like people quit after like a month, 3 months, 6 months, and not all months are the same. Like what if you're in a bad market, and what if you have like a bad market for like 2 years? Like 2022, you could have started any time and you probably would have sucked like most people. Like most traders lost 40, 50%. I was just happy to be green on the year.
I mean, I was slightly red. You know what I mean? Like thank goodness I kept the losses small, and that was probably one of the biggest things that even before I joined the challenge, and I heard Sykes' name was always cut losses quickly, and that never left me. Still to this day, I cut my losses quick and I keep them small.
But it's funny because it's really perspective. Like imagine if you started like January 1st, 2022, and you're like, I'm ready to learn, I want to be the next millionaire. And then all of 2022 sucks, and it's one of the worst years ever. And some of the best traders I know were down, not just a little, but like a lot, And like 2022 was a great year of lessons, good for learning, not good for earning. And so what if you're like, oh, I've been trading for a year and I've made nothing. But that's just 1 year, and it's a bad year. But you started what year?
I started beginning of 2017.
So a lot of...
Actually, ended 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of top challenge students started 2016, 2017, 2018. And then they had perspective of those slower years. So then they ramped it up 2019, 2020, 2021.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was exactly how it went. Because I was, for those of you who might know my story, Matt Monaco, another challenge student of Sykes's, him and I were roommates, and we both kind of got started trying to learn together. And it took a few years. It took a few years for us to get it. And, even some other Sykes's top students like Jack Kellogg, Kyle Williams started right around the same time. And so it's just one of those things that it's not always going to be overnight. And I'm really glad we started before that big 2020 boom. If you started in 2022, it probably was a little bit tough, and you had to learn the lessons before we get another great market. And when that great market comes, it'll pay off.
Even if you got started in 2020. A lot of people got started in 2020 because you're home, you're quarantined, your income disappears, whatever. And 2020 was a great year for earning, but not for learning. And so people learned the wrong lessons. So people were like, oh, this is trading in 2020. And then 2021, oh, this is amazing. And then 2022, you lose everything or most of it.
Yeah.
It's so important to have perspective as a whole. Slow years, fast years, whether you have $5,000, $50,000, $500,000, $5 million, like it's a marathon, not a sprint. And you need to understand that it's going to take several years. Look at this. Look at this guy. Look at his eyes. Look at that. Look at that. Ew. Stop smelling my phone.
It smelled good.
I know it does. But the point is that you get to places like this not overnight. And it's not just about the end result. Like you're at it like a million. A million doesn't go that far after taxes.
No.
Japan might be 30% off lately, but it's still expensive. Like if you want to stay in like 100-year-old Royokins, and we're about to have like the best dinner ever tonight.
I'm so excited.
So, you just, the whole point of this is just to show you that like more people are doing it, but it does take time. this latest round of millionaires were inspired by the last round, right? Like before, now there's dozens of millionaires in the challenge, which is awesome. But the first two students, Michael Good and Tim Grattani, became millionaires pretty much within the same few weeks. And they were trading the same kinds of promos. Promos worked very well. And they became millionaires like within weeks. This is actually coming up on my 10-year anniversary of my CNN article with Tim Grattani. Tim Grattani famously made nothing his first year, but he turned 1,500 into $1 million in 3 years. We had a CNN article that went viral. This is the 10-year anniversary this coming December. Yeah. But those first two millionaires then inspired Mark Crook, Roland Wolf to really study, and then they became the next round. And you saw, Tim Grattani, Michael Good, Roland Wolf, Mark Crook, and so you start to see more and more people are doing it. Mariana, the first, female millionaire. Are you tempted to trade?
I am. I'll have to talk to Mari.
We need more female millionaires, more female traders. Shout out to Kim. Did you see Kim the other day?
Yeah, I was going to say.
She made her first $1,000 at my conference in, September. Now it's 6 months later, 5 months later, she just had a $5,000 day. $5,600 day to be exact on Friday. And she's scaling up. That's the beauty of trading. And this is what I want you to understand. In the beginning, it's good to trade small. It's good to have small gains and small losses. Like Tim Grattani, Jack Kellogg, in the beginning, they're making and losing $20. What were you making and losing your first year?
First year I was using too much size. I was probably too much size, meaning like $50 to $100, but relatively small account.
How did you do after year one?
Terrible.
What were you at?
Probably like -800 or 900, which now is fine, but back then I was a college student. That was a lot of money to be down when I thought I was going to make $10,000 my first year.
What kept you going after being down in year one? Because a lot of people might have similar stories like that. Yeah. Year one, and then they're like, screw it, trading just isn't for me. And then by year 5 or 6, they could have been a millionaire.
There were definitely times I maybe for a week or two took a break because I was frustrated, but having people that were still seeing people like Matt Monaco or seeing other challenge students rising like Jack Kellogg, Kyle Williams, they were doing it, and I knew they had started trading a little bit before me, and I knew they had a similar story where it wasn't necessarily really easy for them either right out of the gates, and so kind of seeing them picking up and still being growing as a trader definitely kept me thinking, okay, this still is possible. I need to keep working for it. And so, just other inspirational stories really kept me going personally.
And Jack Schwartz actually lost money for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then year 4, he banked, and then year 5, he became a millionaire. And now, year 6, I think he had a little red year last year.
I lost for 2.5 years. Yeah, it wasn't.
You kept going.
I kept
going.
But
this is also important. Just because you win or lose, this is a very important point. If you lose on a trade, outsiders, newbies are like, bad trade, you lost money, right? Yeah. But you can lose money in a good way. Maybe the market just turned on you for whatever reason, the stock didn't perform. Maybe you got caught in an offering. It's not a bad trade if you learn to control your losses and minimize those losses. Well, a good trade is not just if you're profiting. If you can profit in a bad way and learn wrong lessons, and that small profit is going to cost you a lot of money in the long run. So it's not just the end result. You need to learn the process. And as you're losing, Jack Kellogg gave a great challenge webinar. If you're in the challenge, you should go watch his webinars. He's given several now. He talked about his first year when he lost 2,600. Again, he's learning what not to do. He's learning when to size up or size down. And he's getting little incrementally smarter and wiser. And he's like, okay, this worked. Maybe you make a $50 trade, but you only get a partial execution, but you're like, if I had gotten a full position, that would have been an $800 profit. Or maybe you miss a trade, you make nothing, but you see that you were there and you just were 2 seconds behind, you didn't get executed. So it's not just your end result, oh, should I keep going or not? If you start to see the process and you start to, I could picture my favorite chart, the GTII trade. How much did you make on that?
Either 4,200 or 4,700. Some call $4,500.
$4,500, and I made a little over 6,000. I literally can pinpoint that kind of trade over and over and over. It's my weekend newsletter. I have a whole newsletter dedicated to over the weekend trades because I know that strategy inside and out. So even if my other strategies aren't working, that usually does. Sometimes that doesn't work, and maybe some other strategy. So it's not just your overall profit or loss on any one trade or any 1 month or any 1 year. It's, can you get smarter? Can you get wiser? Can you optimize your process so that if and when you do scale up years later or months later, whatever the case may be, then you're prepared because you had the near misses, you had the losses, you had the small wins, and you have all of that experience to help you when it really counts. Okay? Like if you're a soccer player, you don't just start in the World Cup. You're not like, you don't see little 5-year-olds being like, I'm going to play in the World Cup. No, they're playing like little crappy soccer. I don't know, what is it, Pee Wee leagues? Or is that just baseball?
Call it Pee Wee leagues, all the same.
Soccer, baseball, football, any sport, basketball, you start in the small leagues and you work your way up. And you learn a lot of lessons in the minor leagues so that if you do make it to the World Cup, if you make it to the Super Bowl, if you make it to the World Series, you use all of those lessons so that you're prepared for the big game. Trading is very similar.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were trading the size that you're trading with now in the beginning, right? You would lose it all like immediately because you wouldn't have had the lessons.
Yeah, absolutely.
So things happen for a reason. Like if you feel like you're scared to size up, good. That means you should stay trading small. You don't need to size up yet. Sometimes you size up, you're like, I'm ready, and then you lose, and then you're like, I'm not ready, and you can size back down. That's trading. It's not just like a straight up climb. Like your profit chart isn't just like up, 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 up. You have to sometimes go backwards. It's like Candyland. You remember Candyland?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Sometimes you have to go backwards in order to learn what not to do. Tim Grittani, on his way to 15 million, he had several big losses where he had to learn to get rid of his bad behavior. And he was like gambling a little bit. Then once he fixed it, then he was ready to go on to the next level. What have you corrected? What's been one of your biggest issues?
Over trading, definitely over trading.
Over trading and oversizing?
No, not really oversizing. I actually do a pretty good job at keeping my size under control now because I really don't want to take a big loss. But sometimes what I get into the mindset is like, well, a couple small losses, but a couple small losses can add up when it's more than just a couple. And so one thing that I think I've done a really good job at correcting in the last probably 4 or 5 months has been just dialing back the number of trades. And like you said, waiting for better setups, waiting for setups that lately I've actually learned a couple new ones over the past year, mainly on the short side. They're not, don't worry, not becoming a short seller, but
be careful, shorts.
Yeah. Just adding new strategies to my playbook that I know will help me when the markets do shift, because markets are cyclical, and when the markets do change, there will be some setups that do work that are no longer working, or vice versa. So having some that are kind of in my back pocket that I can take out, those have been my 2 big things, I think.
Can you tell when he's stressed?
I don't know. I think you're pretty level-headed.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I can hear the screams initially, and then it's hidden once again.
What does the scream sound like?
I don't think I should say that on camera.
It's
Do it. Do it so people know what not to do. Whoa! We're gonna beep that out.
You told me to do it.
I said scream, I didn't say swear. There's a difference. You need to learn to follow instructions, okay?
I know better.
She knew.
Shame on me. It's a lesson. It's a lesson. It's a lesson that I'm going to learn now, and I won't make the same mistake again.
By the way, so it has stopped snowing. It's still magical, but it's less magical. This is like the market, okay? It's all about timing. You see the snow on the roof here. It was freaking magical. That's why I wanted to film this. I actually went live from here, which I haven't done in a while. And I think this is a good analogy because, like, it's still beautiful. This is still like the market, but there are certain times that are better. 2020, 2021, better for earning. 2022, better for learning. 2023, we'll see. So far, it's been a little earning and a little learn. Earning and learning.
Yeah.
What did I say? I don't remember. I'm tired. We have to go. Anyways, get inspired. One last final thought for upcoming traders.
For upcoming traders, I would just say that, like, one of the biggest things when I was just starting and trying to get that momentum going is there are days that you're just going to doubt yourself. You're going to doubt that everyone that you see, people like, Jack Kellogg, any successful trader, you're going to doubt that they're real. I promise you, this is real life. It can happen. On the days that it's tough, maybe take a day off from the market the next day if you went through a really bad red day, or just really you're stressed, because you don't want to trade when you're all messed up in the head, because it'll just lead to you losing more money. Just keep pushing forward, and it can happen. Anything is possible.
Beautiful.
So
well
appreciate
said. Everyone congratulate Bryce in the comments. Wish him a happy birthday. And it does take time. That's the biggest thing, okay? Like, no one makes a lot of money overnight, and if you do, you're probably going to lose it, aka crypto people, because they don't have the right mindset, and, a fool and his money are soon parted. That's a famous saying. It's true. So It's better to make a lot later on after you have a lot of lessons so that you only have to make it once. I know some people where they make a lot of money, but they're betting too big, they're gambling, they don't know how to manage their risk, they lose it all. Then they have to try to make it again. And trust me, their mindset is all screwed up. If you make a lot and then you lose it all or lose a lot, really tough. Jesse Livermore, one of the greatest traders of all time. Remember, he went bankrupt and committed suicide. So stay safe. Let's see who wants it the most. Goodbye.